The opening concert tonight is one that is very special to me. I have called it Brotherhood, Sisterhood. We live in a precarious time, a time where integrity and truth have been called into question, a time of uncertainty and fear. I have gone back almost to the beginnings of written history to see how the greatest minds have addressed this enormous problem, from Aristotle and the Bible to the men and women of our own time, poets and writers. These readings are joined by the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. Why Bach? I don't think that Bach, in his entire lifetime, wrote a single note that did not have integrity, truth, meaning, and yes, love. Brotherhood, sisterhood.
Congressman John Lewis. Together, you can redeem the soul of our nation. Read by Anwar Robinson.
Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I've done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence, is the more excellent way. Now, it is your turn to let freedom reign. Walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide.
Toni Morrison, The Real Language of Humanity. Read by Amanda Gorman, the inaugural Youth Poet Laureate of the United States.
My feeling is that cultures and nations are clashing. They're doing the easiest thing. Murder and killing is the easiest thing to do. The language of reconciliation, the language of peace, is understood as not having the strength, as not sexy, not adventuresome, not strong. The language of war, Churchill, all the poetry, the epics and sagas are about war and death and honor and so on. Maybe it had to be that way to get people to go and fight and die. But it looks to me that the language of Gandhi, of Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela is the real language of humanity. It's understood by those who want to live in peace. It's the strongest language. That language got us to the civil rights movement. It called upon the best parts of other people. It's demanding the best parts of ourselves.
Aristotle, on Friendship, read by Dave Bob.
What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies.
Mark Twain, Brotherhood of Man, read by Dustin Tucker.
The universal brotherhood of man is our most precious possession.
Mahatma Gandhi, Equality in Religion and Mankind, read by Sherazad Pantaki.
All the great religions of the world inculcate equality and brotherhood of mankind and the virtue of toleration.
Harry S. Truman, Equality in Brotherhood, read by Ron Botting.
I believe in the brotherhood of man, not merely the brotherhood of white men, but the brotherhood of all men under law.
Frederick Douglass, If There Is No Struggle, read by Tony Award-nominated actor Norm Lewis.
If there is no struggle, there is no progress. What to the slave is the 4th of July? It is easier to build strong children than it is to repair a broken man. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. Without struggle, there is no progress. I prayed for 20 years without an answer, until I prayed without my legs. The soul that is within me, no man can degrade. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. The white man's happiness cannot be purchased by the black man's misery.
William Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice, read by award-winning actor Bruce Sabath.
I am a Jew. I am a Muslim. I am a woman. I am a black. I am a Christian. I am an Asian. If you prick me, do I not bleed? If you tickle me, do I not laugh? If you poison me, do I not die?
An excerpt from Fury and Faith, an original poem by Amanda Gorman.
You will be told that this is not a problem, not your problem. We will be told that now is not the time for change to begin, told that we cannot win. But the point of protest isn't winning, it's holding fast to the promise of freedom, even when fast victory is not promised, meaning we cannot stand up to police if we cannot cease policing our own imagination, convincing our communities that this won't work before the work has even begun, that this can wait when we've already waited out 1,000 suns. By now, we understand that white supremacy and the despair it demands are as destructive as any disease. So when you're told that your rage is reactionary, remember that rage is our right. It teaches us it is time to fight in the face of injustice. Not only is anger natural, but necessary, because it helps carry us to our destination. Our goal has never been revenge, just restoration, not dominance, just dignity, not fear, just freedom, just justice.
The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., read by Anwar Robinson.
A riot is the language of the unheard. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. The time is always right to do what is right. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. I think love is the most durable element in the world, and my whole approach is based on that. I'm talking about love with justice. Weak love can be sentimental and empty. I'm talking about the love that is so strong, so that you love your fellow men enough that you lead them to justice.
John Steinbeck, East of Eden, read by Jean Gatto.
I believe a strong woman may be stronger than a man, particularly if she happens to have love in her heart. I guess a loving woman is indestructible.
Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Sonnet 43, How Do I Love Thee, read by Inés del Castillo.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely, as men strive for right. I love thee purely, as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with the love I seemed to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
One Today, an original poem by Richard Blanco.
One sun rose on us today, kindled over our shores, peeking over the Smokies, greeting the faces of the Great Lakes, spreading a simple truth across the Great Plains, then charging over the Rockies. one light. Waking up rooftops, under each one a story, told by our silent gestures moving behind our windows. My face, your face. Millions of faces in morning's mirrors, each one yawning to life, crescendoing into our day. Pencil yellow school buses, the rhythm of traffic lights, fruit stands, apples, limes, and oranges, arrayed like rainbows, begging our praise. Silver trucks heavy with oil or paper, bricks or milk, teeming over highways alongside us, on our way to clean tables, read ledgers, or save lives, to teach geometry or ring up groceries as my mother did for 20 years so I could write this poem for us today. All of us, as vital as the one light we move through. The same light on blackboards with lessons for the day, equations to solve, history to question, or atoms imagined. They have a dream. We keep dreaming.
Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, on discrimination, read by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I try to teach through my opinions, through my speeches, how wrong it is to judge people on the basis of what they look like, color of their skin, whether they're men or women.
The Golden Rule is common to all religions. Christianity, read by Norm Lewis.
All things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law of the prophets.
Hinduism, read by Dave Bob.
This is the sum of duty. Do not to others, which if done to thee, would cause thee pain.
Confucianism, read by Abigail Killeen.
The maxim of loving kindness. Do not unto others as you would not have them do unto you.
Taoism, read by Bruce Sabath.
Regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain, and regard your neighbor's loss as your own loss.
Islam, read by Jean Gatto.
No one of you is a believer until she loves for her sister what she loves for herself.
Hebraism, read by Rabbi Gary Berenson, Etz Chaim Synagogue, Portland, Maine.
That which is distasteful to you, do not to your fellow man. That is the whole of the Torah. The rest is but commentary.
Abraham Lincoln, The Gettysburg Address, read by Senator Angus King.
77 years ago, our fathers set forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God will have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth.